In this video, I'm going to answer the question of whether or not you can use epoxy resin while pregnant. Hi there, my name is Martin, and in this video, I'm going to answer the question of whether or not you can use epoxy resin while pregnant. Now, before we get started, I just want to say that this information is for educational purposes only, and you should always consult with your doctor if you're unsure about anything. Okay, let's get into it. 1. What is epoxy resin and what are its uses? Epoxy resin is a composite material made of two main components, an epoxy resin and an epoxy hardener. This material is highly versatile and can be used in a wide range of applications. In addition to being strong and durable, epoxy resin lends itself well to surface coatings, sealants, adhesives, and composite materials. Moreover, it is relatively easy to work with and can be manipulated easily using heat and pressure. Because of these qualities, epoxy resin has become increasingly popular for industrial uses as well as in craft making and other DIY projects. Whether you are looking to protect a surface from wear and tear or need glue that will stand the test of time, epoxy resin is sure to get the job done. 2. How to use epoxy resin safely. When working with epoxy resin, it is crucial to take all necessary precautions to stay safe. This includes wearing the appropriate protective gear, such as gloves, goggles, and a face mask. It is also important to work in a well-ventilated area that is free from flammable materials or other potential hazards. And of course, you should always follow the instructions on your epoxy resin carefully, being sure to mix and apply it as directed by the manufacturer. With these simple precautions in place, you can safely use epoxy resin for a variety of projects and applications. Whether you are building countertops or filling cracks in concrete, you can trust this durable material to get the job done right. So if you are ready to give epoxy resin a try, just be sure to keep safety at the forefront of your mind at all times. 3. What are the risks associated with using epoxy resin while pregnant? While epoxy resin has many beneficial uses, it also poses certain risks to pregnant women. Epoxy resin contains styrene compounds that have been linked to a number of adverse effects in pregnancy, including an increased risk of spontaneous abortion and birth defects. Additionally, exposure to epoxy resin has been associated with hormone disruption, metabolic dysfunction, and impaired fetal growth. Therefore, it is crucial for pregnant women to be aware of these risks and take any necessary precautions when using epoxy resin. Whether this involves wearing safety gear or limiting exposure to the substance, careful attention to safety can help protect both mom and baby from potential harm. 4. Alternatives to using epoxy resin while pregnant. There are several effective alternatives to using this potentially dangerous material while pregnant. These include using non-resin glue or industrial tape to create sturdy bonds and using mechanical fasteners such as nuts and bolts to hold materials together instead of relying solely on glue. By carefully considering your options and using the appropriate tools for the job, you can easily avoid exposing yourself or your unborn child to the risks associated with epoxy resin. So if you're expecting, it's always best to err on the side of caution when choosing a bonding agent and consult a doctor before coming into contact with any potentially hazardous materials. Ultimately, your health and well-being should always come first, both during pregnancy and beyond. While epoxy resin can be a useful and versatile material, it is important to be aware of the potential risks it poses to pregnant women. By taking all necessary precautions and using safe alternatives, you can minimize your exposure to this potentially dangerous substance. With a little bit of care and forethought, you can easily create a safe and healthy environment for both you and your baby. So if you're expecting, be sure to take all precautions when using epoxy resin and always consult a doctor before coming into contact with any potentially hazardous materials. If you have any questions or concerns about using epoxy resin while pregnant, be sure to leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more helpful content like this.